Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick warning before we begin. In this story, there is an abusive parent, so if you're sensitive to that subject, then you might want to skip the video. Now, let's get started. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user BadWolf7850. How do I, 24 female, tell my mom, 45 female, that I do not want her involved in my child's life? Okay, this is going to be long and I'm on mobile, so I'm sorry for any issues. My mother and I have an almost non-existent relationship, as it is after years of physical and emotional abuse. This all started in my 6th grade year of school. She started getting really addicted to painkillers and has now progressed to anything she can find, and lost her job after she OD'd at work. After that, she started being very mean to me. It started with her just insulting absolutely everything about me. I was too thin, too active, too boyish, and I had a bad fashion sense. This was something she critiqued every single day on the drive to school. As I got older, it became more physical. We were at a restaurant with almost all of my family members. My stepdad, sisters, grandparents, aunt, and cousin. My mom was talking about one of my friend's parents. He was a single dad, forgetting to send out invites to his daughter's birthday party and how stupid he was. So I told her that he made them and my friend was supposed to drop them in the mail on her way to school but forgot. She then punched me in the face twice. Even now when I ask, everyone will admit it was a closed-fisted punch. My cousin called CPS, but nothing really happened. When I got into high school and started my period, my mom told me I was now a female and wouldn't let me go out for sports and pulled me out of show choir. I then gained a lot of weight and the fat insults began. She used to stand by my door and just insult me while I tried to study and read. To this day, if anyone tries to get my attention while I'm reading, they have to touch me first. I can completely tune out things because otherwise I wasn't going to pass an exam and I was going to endure so much abuse. Once I began to be able to do this, my mom decided that she needed to do it while I was out of my room. So every time I left my room to use the restroom or eat dinner, I was insulted. She would call me fat and ugly, and she told me to end my life on more than one occasion. After graduation, I rekindled the friendship with someone from high school after we graduated because we lived so near. Basically, we both wanted to move out. One day, my mom was cussing at me because I saw her hiding drugs in my stuff. I work in the health field and this would cost me everything. The doorbell rang and I opened the door. He heard it and we immediately left and started looking for apartments. We came back with lease papers and oh my god, my mom's face was freaking priceless. It's one of my fondest memories. She couldn't pick on me anymore. I picked an apartment with a tennis court and a gym and lost about 70 pounds in a year. I felt great and started to really feel like myself again. I was happy, had friends, and started to get attention from guys. She didn't even know where I lived for over a year. I only relented because I met my now husband. Sam, he's so amazing. I met his parents after a month or so, but I don't think he met mine until 3 or 4 months in. My mom mentioned something about knowing about him and wanted to meet him. My grandmother suggested that I give her a chance, that she felt terrible since I moved out and had little to no contact with her since. So, like an idiot, I did. My mom immediately made me feel bad over the phone about my old dog. I couldn't take her with me. My mom loves dogs though, wouldn't ever hurt them. Me? Ha! So they brought her to my apartment. About 10 or so minutes in, my mom asked to use the restroom. I didn't see her for 10 minutes, so I walked into my room and saw her digging through my clothes. I immediately told her to leave. My stepdad sided with me and dragged her out. She wasn't allowed in my apartment again. When Sam proposed, I called my parents so excited. My mom immediately started asking who I was going to involve. I mentioned I wanted my cousin to be maid of honor and I wanted her son to be the ring bearer. My nephews are too old at this point, and she flipped out and said if I invite her, then she would end her. My mom and cousin have a huge feud. My cousin went down a bad path, like my mother, but went to rehab and got help. But I guess they were doing drug stuff together and mom didn't like how things turned out. She says she stole things from her, but I really doubt it. My mom said the same about me, but the real issue is my cousin won't let her see her son, which I agree with. Anyway, I hung up on her and continued calling to share the news. As the months went on, I began to dread planning or even thinking about my wedding. My mom is insane, and I do honestly believe she would hurt my cousin. I thought about just not inviting her because she was the one causing trouble, but tossed it aside when she said she would crash the wedding and said she knows where my cousin lives. Sam and I had a ceremony by ourselves with one of my friends as the minister. To keep his parents involved, we let them sign as witnesses, but that is a secret. We told my parents we got married and my mom flipped out and said my cousin had cost her too much at this point and would never have anything to do with her. I didn't really care, since, well, they don't know. Then Sam's mom called and said she wanted to throw us a reception because she didn't get to celebrate and the family wanted to give us stuff. I thought this would be great. A come and go party could really be a great compromise, and my cousin agreed to stop by earlier to have a bit of fun and drop off my gift. Well, I called my mom to see if she wanted to help plan and she said yes, but only if my cousin wasn't permitted. I told her no, and that if she was going to be this way, then she just wouldn't get to plan or attend. I told her I was sick of her controlling my life and my cousin has been like a sister. So now she has told my sister and stepfather they cannot attend. Fantastic! I decided the party will go on. My husband and I have recently decided to try for a child after we had a miscarriage. Prior to that, we were both kind of meh about the idea of having kids, so I never really thought about this before. I do not want my child around someone this toxic. I do not want her to be mean or insulting to my kid. But I love my stepfather and sisters dearly, and it upsets me to think they won't be there for my kid. Aw man, OP, this sucks. How many chances are you gonna give your mom? She's clearly toxic, just like you say, but still you call her to see if she wants to participate in the party that your mother-in-law is throwing you and she starts putting demands. You know she's gonna pull off some stunt like that, just don't put yourself in that position. Now, I believe that your big issue is in this last line where you say that you love your stepfather and sisters a lot and it would upset you to think that they wouldn't be there for your kid. Well, why wouldn't they? Is your mom gonna tie them up and put them in the basement or something like that? Like, she can't keep them from visiting you, and you can definitely tell her to stay out of your house or you calling the cops. Seriously, OP, there are ways to work around that to have your kid safe, which is the most important thing, and also to arrange visitations from your stepfather and sisters, or maybe meet up at a cafe or whatever, in a place where your mom just won't be. So that's what I would do. I would go absolutely no contact with my mom, and then whenever I would want my child to see my stepfather and my sisters, I would arrange these things just with them. I'm pretty sure they also know that your mom is toxic and would be all for protecting the child from someone like that. And what do you guys think, or what would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Lonnie Lee 3 says, it's a little early to be telling mom anything. Start distancing yourself and go low contact if you want to maintain a relationship with your siblings. Keep your prospective pregnancy as private information until after you start to show. Make alternative plans for those events that normally a mother would share. Example, ultrasound, checkups, after birth assistance at home. And if and when mom brings it up, just say, thanks, but we've got it covered. And OP responds, we are extremely low contact, like a visit on holidays, maybe a phone call for a life event. This post was more of a once I'm in the second trimester thing. I have no intention of telling anyone anything until it's safer. I've already had a miscarriage, I can't imagine having to tell people about it. Sepox says, your stepfather and sister are their own human being and they should be able to decide themselves whether or not they will stay in touch with you. Why does your mother have an influence on that? Ignore her and talk to them directly. Second, that woman should stay out of every part of your life. Don't let anyone talk you into something else. She has proven a bazillion times that she is one piece of huge crap. Sorry, there are no other words for her. I still can't believe that crazy story you wrote. This world is crazy. Just to give you my own personal opinion, if anyone, even my own mother, only once called me any names or fat or stupid the way your mother did, I'd kick them out of my life. One way, of course. You literally endured years of abuse. No. And Opie responds, my stepdad tends to back down to her because she's insane and he doesn't want to deal with it. I kind of understand, but I guess we'll see if I'm worth fighting for in his eyes. My little sister lives with them and my mom would make her life a living hell. Hopefully she will move out before I get pregnant and this will be fine. She just turned 18, so she wasn't really able to stick up for me much. We are pretty close because of this crap though. Yeah, this woman will not have a place in my child's life. Zombies and Pandas Oh My says, holy crap, why are you still in contact with this woman at all? Cut contact with her and get some therapy. Your stepdad let her treat you like this. Sure, maybe he agreed with you about her rummaging through your clothes, but come on. If you really want to see him, you can arrange to have lunch with him without her knowing. But your relationship with him is really not worth keeping a relationship with her. Do you want your future child to have a relationship with them, even if it means he or she will have to have a relationship with her? Because I guarantee you, your mother will find some way to see your kid through your spineless stepfather. And Opie responds, I should have put in my original post more of what he did. He used to fight with my mom about how she treated me, but she would say she was going to divorce him and take me away, leaving me with just her, so he did what he could until I turned 18, and then started helping more. Additional information from Opie's comments. I have no plans to tell anyone about the hospital I'll use or when I go into labor. I'll wait until we get home to call people to visit. I'd like to never tell her, but I'm sure she will find out. I have secondary insurance through my stepdad, so they will see billing information. They can't call and get information about why I was there, but after several ultrasounds and OB checks, they'll probably figure it out. I am also worried about her just showing up at my home. Considering I own my own home, I love this house and I really don't want to move. If she starts showing up, I'll sell it and move. Ugh, she definitely needs help, but the one time I asked my mom to go to rehab and see a therapist, she screamed at me until I hung up. The thing is, I want to stop this cycle and make sure my mom isn't involved, but my main problem though is that it would just suck to never see my stepdad. Now, both the hospital I work at and the hospital where I receive care know not to tell her anything. She has a history of calling my doctors to find out my medical information. I want that time to be just us and the baby, but my mom seems to not get that these events are mine and not hers. I have cut contact previously, but a bunch of my family members told me she had changed and missed me. She did not. We've had very, very low contact since. The last time I saw her was during the holidays, and the only time I've called her since was to tell her I got married since I was hoping to avoid conflict. If she found out there was a reception and she wasn't told, she would have thrown a huge fit and somehow got a hold of my mother-in-law to yell and swear at her for not involving her. This way, I took the brunt off it, while still showing my family that I am trying. I talked to my stepdad and basically said I've had it with her behavior. I'm done. He supports it and said he will make time to see me without my mother. So I'm not even gonna bring up the baby. I'm going to say I'm sick of her being terrible all the time and that I do not want any further contact. Then, if family members give me grief over any of this, I will give them a warning and then do the same to them. Opie's edit. My stepdad did try to stick up for me at first, but she told him she would file for divorce and he'd never see me again. My father abandoned me when I was a child, so I would have gone with her. So he did what little he could until I turned 18 and then really stood by me. OP's short-term update. I actually just called and talked to him about the whole thing and he said he would support me and that he told my mom off and will be at the reception. It had to be postponed for other reasons. And I also asked him about the insurance and he said that she couldn't change anything on it because it's his. I didn't include the baby stuff because, well, I'm not ready to tell people. I asked him about how he lives with her and he said it was because she doesn't have a place to go. I told him that was her problem and that I would fully support him kicking her ass out to the curb. He seemed surprised and thankful. I'm starting to wonder if he thought I was going to hate him if he kicked her out. He told me he's been wanting to file for divorce since my sister turned 18 and he didn't have to worry about her going anywhere. Wow, OP, the image I have of your stepdad now is absolutely opposite to what I had before. This guy stayed with your toxic mom for years just to try to keep you and your little sister safe as best as he could. Wow, respect. Anyways, it seems like OP has chosen what to do and is going through with it. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Before I give my update, I would like to thank everyone that posted and also clear up a few things about my family that I didn't post in the original post. I wanted to focus on my mother during the post, so I didn't think to include anything about my stepdad. When the abuse first started, he fought for me. I heard them fighting about it after he separated me from the situation. He wasn't yelling or anything. We had just moved into a mobile home because my mom wasn't making mortgage payments on the house and she was doing all the financial stuff. She hid it very well and now only gets cash for things like gas for her car, etc. Anyway, he basically told her if she didn't stop doing this, then he was going to involve the therapist and family to get to the root of the problem because it wasn't fair to me. She told him if he did anything to prevent her parenting style, that she would divorce him and he'd never see me again. Once I turned 18, he was extremely helpful, but couldn't be around all the time because he was working. He encouraged me to get out of the situation. I know this isn't an ideal situation, but there is no doubt in my mind that my mother would have taken me and ran. Okay, on to the update. Well, I decided to forgive her completely and move her in as a nanny for when the baby arrives. Not really, guys. I haven't spoken to her since and don't intend to, but she did try to start up some drama to get me back in her life. We have 3 family dogs and 2 of them got too rough while playing. One was injured, with a small laceration under her eye. My mother called my grandma because I guess she wasn't sure if it even needed stitches. Well, my grandma decided to send a text to my aunt to ask her what she thought. I guess it looked similar to a cut one of my aunt's dogs had recently. They were texting and calling me, but my phone was in my locker at work policy, so I didn't know what was going on. During my lunch break, I called my grandma back because she actually left a voicemail and I had no interest in calling my mother. My grandma told me my aunt still had some glue from the vet and offered it to my mom. I thought this was a great idea and said that. Well, I guess that pissed my mom off and she left a text saying if I thought my aunt was a better caregiver for the dog, I should come and get her. So I called my stepdad and told him the whole thing. He got really mad and said he was sorry and would deal with it. I guess he went over to my aunt after work and got it, and the dog was just fine after. It was apparently a very small laceration, but I was happy to know the dog was okay. I didn't get involved with my mother, so I guess she decided to pick on my stepsister. She moved a few blocks away from our parents to be in a better school district and neighborhood. Her new home is actually right across the street from the neighborhood playground. It is very helpful to her right now and much more affordable. My mom apparently wanted some drama and decided to call her and threaten her unless she moved. Then told her she wasn't allowed, lol, in the neighborhood, and if she was, my mother wouldn't allow her to see her father. I guess she didn't count on my sister calling my stepdad about the situation. He quickly informed her that my sister can move where she wants, and unless she has some sort of logical reasoning, he would be seeing her as much as he pleased. He was apparently very happy they moved in because now he can see my nephews anytime. This actually was perfect for me as well. My mother won't go over there now, so when I go over there, my stepdad comes over. I get to spend time with them without having to deal with her crap. I'm finally ready to start sending invites to my reception, and she is not getting an invite. I absolutely refuse to bring any potential violence or unnecessary drama to an otherwise happy day. That also goes for any other day for the rest of my life. Maybe one day she will actually seek help and become a better person. I doubt that I will want anything to do with her even then, but I do hope for the best for everyone involved. Wow, OP, your mom just needs to feed on drama. What a sad existence. Hopefully she does get some help for whatever it is that ails her. Regardless, I hope you have an awesome reception and your baby planning goes in a positive way. Please take care, OP, and all the best. Thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Happy Giraffe. Cameras have to be on, no matter what. Fine by me, don't mind the pump. I'm a project manager and data scientist. I manage lots of different public health related projects. There is one project in particular that includes a really demanding team from a federal government department. I recently returned back to work from maternity leave. I work in my office 3 days a week, and on those days I have to pump breast milk at regular intervals for my baby. Luckily, I have my own private office and can usually just keep on working, emails, reports, etc. while I pump. I have a hands-free wearable pump which is convenient, but still definitely obvious I am wearing it. It pokes out about my shirt and is not exactly silent. Recently, we have a Zoom call scheduled during one of the times I needed to pump. Instead of missing the meeting, I figured I would just keep my camera off so I could wear my pump and still participate and listen. Heck, I was even in my office and not working from home. I felt like I was being a pretty committed employee. Meeting starts and a few people have their cameras off. The lead makes the announcement. I just want to remind everyone that our expectation is that you will have your cameras on because this is not a virtual meeting. It is a simulated in-person meeting. Whatever that means. I sent a quick private message to explain I was paying attention, but pumping. No response to me, just instead again, the expectation is that all cameras will be on. So fine, I turn my camera on for this meeting of about 20 people. The camera isn't aimed at my chest, but certainly the top of my pump is clearly visible. I unmuted myself so you could also clearly hear the pump and just said, "Thank you for your patience, I was just adjusting my breast pump." The meeting continued awkwardly with several other team members letting me know privately it was fine to turn my camera off, but at that point, there really was no point in turning it off. At the most recent meeting, the announcement was, "Please turn on your cameras if you are comfortable doing so." Well, OP, you tried, but they were just being idiots. Good for you. Thank you for sharing. Take care. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.